your job feels safe today, that's exactly why AI is about to replace it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here because what we're about to discuss isn't just another iHype video. This is different. This is personal. And if you're working in America right now, this affects you directly. You see, while everyone's worried about robots taking factory jobs, something far more insidious is happening. White-collar jobs, the ones we thought were untouchable, are disappearing. Not with pink slips, not with announcements, just quietly vanishing. And by 2027, the job market as we know it will be unrecognizable. So stick around because I'm going to show you exactly which jobs are on the chopping block, why I won't give you any warning, and most importantly, what you can do to survive what's coming. Let me tell you something most companies won't admit publicly. AI isn't coming to take your job in the dramatic way you're imagining. There won't be a company-wide email saying we're replacing Sarah with ChatGPT. That's not how this works. Instead, here's what's actually happening right now. In 2026, across thousands of American companies. Sound familiar? But here's the reality. First, AI automates 10% of someone's tasks. The employee thinks, great, I have more time for strategic work. Then it's 30%. And suddenly, management asks a very simple question. Why do we need this person at all? This is the silent replacement. According to a 2025 report from McKinsey, approximately 45% of current work activities in the United States could be automated using existing technology. But here's what's terrifying. Companies aren't announcing these changes. They're not holding press conferences. They're just not refilling positions when people leave. They're quietly restructuring. The key line you need to remember is this. You don't lose your job. Your job loses its reason to exist. Think about that for a moment. Your role doesn't disappear because you're not good at it. It disappears because I can do 70, 80, 90% of what you do faster, cheaper, and without taking vacation days or asking for raises. And by the time you realize what's happening, we're talking about the jobs Americans have been told are safe. The college degree jobs, the middle class jobs, the careers parents push their kids toward. First category, data heavy roles. Data analysts, junior data scientists, business intelligence analysts. If your job is primarily about collecting data, cleaning data, and generating reports from that data, you're in the danger zone. Why? Because I can now process more data in 10 minutes than you can in a month. Companies are already using tools like Claude, GPT-4, and specialized AI platforms to do this work instantly. I'm not speculating. I'm seeing it happen. Companies that had teams of 5 to 7 data analysts in 2024 now have one senior analyst in a suite of AI tools in 2026. Second category, repetitive decision-making roles. This includes loan officers, insurance underwriters, junior recruiters, and procurement specialists. These jobs follow rules. They evaluate criteria. They make yes or no decisions based on established parameters. And guess what? AI is exceptional at exactly this type of work. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't have bad days. It applies the same criteria consistently, every single time. A major bank, which I won't name but you'd recognize immediately, reduced its loan processing team by 60% between 2024 and 2025. 60%. Those weren't layoffs announced in the news. Those were restructurings and voluntary buyouts and positions that simply weren't refilled. Third category, report-based work. Marketing coordinators, communications specialists, junior PR professionals, executive assistants who primarily manage schedules and draft communications. If your primary output is written reports, email newsletters, presentation decks, or internal communications, AI can now do this at a level that's indistinguishable from human work. I know this is hard to hear. Maybe you're in one of these roles. Maybe you're thinking, but my work requires nuance, requires understanding the company culture, requires a human touch. And you're right, it does. But here is the uncomfortable truth. AI is getting good enough that the difference doesn't matter anymore for most of these outputs. An 80% solution generated in 30 seconds is more valuable to companies than a 95% 5% solution that takes you 4 hours. Fourth category, coordination-only jobs. Project coordinators, operations coordinators, scheduling specialists. If your job is primarily about keeping people organized, managing calendars, tracking deadlines, and sending reminder emails, you need to understand that AI scheduling tools and project management AI are becoming incredibly sophisticated. They're learning patterns, anticipating conflicts, and managing workflows without human intervention. You know why? Because categories keep curiosity alive. If I listed 50 job titles, you'd scan for yours. And if it wasn't there, you'd think you're safe. But that's exactly the trap. This isn't about specific job titles. This is about job functions. So why 2027 specifically? What makes this year the turning point? 3 things converge in 2027 that create a perfect storm for job displacement. But by 2027, the math becomes undeniable. An AI subscription that can handle the work of 3 full-time employees costs less than $50,000 annually. Meanwhile, 3 employees cost anywhere from $180,000 to $300,000 when you include salaries. And CFOs across America are doing these calculations right now. Second, AI speed exceeds human speed for standardized work. It's not just about cost. It's about velocity. Companies that adopt AI can operate faster than their competitors. They can respond to market changes in hours instead of weeks. They can generate reports in minutes instead of days. Speed becomes a competitive advantage, and humans, no matter how talented. Third, AI doesn't sleep, quit, or unionize. This is the part companies love but won't say out loud. AI doesn't take maternity leave. It doesn't ask for mental health days. It doesn't require management oversight or performance reviews. It just works. Continuously, consistently, without drama. And here's the psychological trigger that makes 2027 the year everything changes. By 2027, it won't be impressive to use AI. It will be expected. Think about what happened with email. AI is following the same trajectory, just faster. By 2027, companies that aren't leveraging AI will be seen as outdated, inefficient, and uncompetitive. And employees who can't work alongside AI, who can't leverage it, who can't add value beyond what AI can do, will be considered liabilities. The phrase you'll hear in every boardroom, every leadership meeting, every strategy session is this: if AI can do it, why are we paying a human to do it? But here's where this gets interesting, and frankly, where there's hope. Not everyone is getting replaced. And understanding this divide is the difference between thriving and becoming obsolete. On one side, task doers. These are people whose value is defined by completing tasks. I process invoices. I write blog posts. I analyze sales data. I schedule meetings. If your job identity is task-based, you're in the replacement zone. On the other side, system thinkers. These are people whose value is defined by designing systems, making judgment calls, building relationships, and creating strategy. I design the process that determines how we should allocate marketing budget. I build trust with key clients that generates long-term loyalty. I create the framework that guides our AI tools. Here's the crucial reframe that prevents drop-off in this video. This isn't about fear. This is about hope. Because unlike previous economic disruptions, you can still adapt. You still have time. But only if you understand what's happening and act now. The jobs that survive the AI era have 5 characteristics. Write these down. 1. Ownership. You own outcomes, not tasks. You're responsible for results, not activities. 2. Judgment. You make decisions in gray areas where there's no clear right answer, where ethics matter, where context is everything. 3. Creativity. You generate ideas that don't exist yet. You see connections others miss. You ask questions nobody thought to ask. 4. Leverage. You use AI and other tools to multiply your output. You're not competing with AI, you're orchestrating it. 5. Human trust. You build relationships where people need to trust a person, not a system. Where empathy matters. Where someone needs to look another human in the eye and believe them. If your job has at least 3 of these 5 characteristics, you're likely safe. If it has 0 or 1, you need to start transitioning immediately. And here is the ending quote for this section that positions hope. The safest job in the AI era is not a job at all. It's becoming someone who creates value that I can't replicate and humans desperately need. So let's get practical. What work actually survives? Ownership survives. Becoming the person who owns the outcome, not just completes the task. If you're a marketing coordinator, you're at risk. But if you become the person who owns customer acquisition strategy, who tests channels, who makes budget calls, who takes responsibility for the numbers going up or down, you're valuable. Judgment survives, especially ethical judgment. AI can analyze data and suggest options, but it can't weigh competing values. It can't consider long-term reputation. It can't factor in community impact or employee morale. When a decision involves trade-offs that affect real people, that's human territory. Creativity survives, not just artistic creativity, but problem-solving creativity. The ability to see a problem nobody else has identified. The ability to combine ideas from different fields. The ability to ask, what if we tried something completely different? AI generates variations. Humans generate revolutions. Leverage survives. The people who learn to use AI as a force multiplier will thrive. If you be a writer who can now produce 10 times more content by using AI for research and first drafts while you focus on unique insights and voice, you're more valuable, not less. If you be an analyst who can use AI to process data sets that would have taken your old team months, you're indispensable. Human trust survives. Therapy, nursing, teaching young children, spiritual guidance, legal counsel in sensitive situations, executive coaching, hospice care. These require human connection at a level I can't replicate. Not because I can't simulate empathy, but because humans need to trust another human in these moments. Here's what you need to understand. The next 3 years will separate people into 2 groups. Those who saw this coming and adapted, and those who kept their heads down, hoped for the best, and woke up one day to find their role had been optimized. Which group will you be in? Now, at minute 4 of thinking about this, here's the tease that creates urgency. The most dangerous job category isn't the obvious one. It's the one most Americans think is future-proof, so what is it? What's the job category everyone thinks is safe, but is actually most at risk? Middle management. Specifically, managers whose primary function is coordination and reporting. I know this sounds crazy. Manager is supposed to be the safe position, right? You've climbed the ladder. You have direct reports. You attend leadership meetings. You feel secure. But think about what many middle managers actually do. They collect updates from their team. They consolidate information into reports. They attend meetings to share those reports. They assign tasks. They track deadlines. They have one-on-ones to check on progress. They mediate conflicts over resources and priorities. Now, imagine an AI system that tracks all project progress in real time, automatically escalates issues, provides senior leadership with instant visibility into what every team is working on, suggests resource reallocation based on priorities, and even drafts performance feedback based on objective metrics. What exactly is left for that middle manager to do? We're already seeing this. Companies are flattening their organizational structures. They're going from 5 layers of management to 3. They're giving senior leaders AI dashboards that eliminate the need for layers of reporting. They're empowering individual contributors with AI tools that eliminate the need for constant oversight. The middle management purge is coming, and it's going to shock people because these are the jobs everyone thought meant you made it. 6-figure salaries, corner offices, prestigious titles, all vulnerable. This forces watch through because people need to know, am I in this category? Is my manager role actually at risk? Should I be repositioning myself now? So let's bring this home. By 2027, the American job market will be fundamentally different. Not because of mass layoffs that make headlines, not because of dramatic announcements, but because of thousands of quiet decisions made in thousands of boardrooms across the country. A position doesn't get refilled. A department gets restructured. A team of 5 becomes a team of 2 with an I support. A manager role gets consolidated. It happens slowly, then all at once. What's scary isn't mass layoffs. It's that most of these jobs will vanish without announcements, headlines, or warnings. One day you'll realize that job posting you saw last year for a role like yours, it was never reposted. That colleague who left 6 months ago, they never replaced her. That team that used to be 8 people, it's now 3 people and a suite of AI tools. But here's your advantage. You're watching this right now. You're aware. You see what's coming, and that means you can still adapt. So here's what you do immediately. First, audit your job. Be honest. What percentage of your work could I do? If it's over 50%, you need to start evolving your role now. Talk to your manager about taking on more strategic work. Volunteer for projects that require judgment and creativity. Position yourself as the person who leverages AI, not the person AI replaces. Second, develop one of the 5 survival skills we discussed. Pick the one that aligns with your strengths. Double down on it. Make it your identity. Third, start treating yourself as a business, not an employee. Employees get replaced. Businesses adapt. What value do you create? How do you create it? Can you create it in multiple ways? For multiple clients or companies? The future belongs to people who see themselves as value creators, not task completers. If this video made you think differently about your career, do me a favor, hit that like button so more people see this message. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe, because I'll be covering exactly how to reposition yourself for the AI era in upcoming videos. The question isn't whether this transformation is happening. It's whether you'll be ready when it does. I'll see you in the next one.